Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Trogdor, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. We have a very exciting league that we are now a part of. So, there's a very good chance that prior to this upload right here, the draft stream already happened, which hopefully is going up on someone's channel. I'm not sure where exactly. I'm recording this like almost immediately after the draft happened, so I'll post links and stuff in the description just in case that has happened or not. But anyway, we are part of the UPBA, which is a Wi-Fi league, which I've never joined a dedicated Wi-Fi league before, so I'm really excited about that. It's going to be a fun experience. We got a bunch of cool people whose links will be in the description, but more likely than not, if you're here, you're already subscribed to everybody else. So yeah, there's that. So I am also repping a new team. I've been using the Vancouver Tapu Canucks for quite some time now, but I also want to have another team. I've got the Brooklyn Venonets. So, you know, repping my hometown and stuff, or hometown where I live, because Vancouver is technically also my hometown, but Brooklyn is like where I've lived the longest now. So, is it? I think so. Yeah, yeah. So Brooklyn, repping Brooklyn. That's fun and exciting. Got the new team. So we got pick number 6 in the draft. 6 out of 16. So there are 16 people involved. This is like a pretty standard draft. We were thinking about doing like Ubers or something, which we were doing in like some PTL experimental league, but this is a whole other thing. We're just doing like standard Gen 7. I almost said Gen 6, which is like we're a little bit past that. Like, I'm probably gonna always be like, hey, welcome to Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire battle. It's like, no, this is Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I gotta remember that, but I've been so disconnected from Gen 7 besides these draft leagues. So we got pick number 6, and there are a lot of things that I wanted to potentially try out. My goal for this draft is primarily, number 1, just get like a completely broken draft that's gonna make everyone cry, and number 2, primarily draft things that I have not drafted before. So I've been in like not a ton of draft leagues, so there's like still a lot of really good stuff that I haven't tried out before, but I want to focus on getting new things, focus on finding new strategies, and just not going with the stuff that I'm the most comfortable with, even though if it does come up that it's like, hey, this thing is great, I'm going to use it. Okay. So I had pick number 6, and you know, of course, a lot of really good stuff went. Like, I think Tapu Koko went first overall. We allowed Tapu Lele, and that went. We allowed Mega Latias, and that went. And Aegislash, which some people in this league don't realize yet that Aegislash is cursed. Like, I got relegated with, I think everyone who's drafted Aegislash in the PTL and has completed the season has gotten relegated, I think. I need to double check in like the D3 stuff, but yeah, people don't realize here yet that Aegislash is cursed. Anyway, so my first pick overall was Mega Mawile. This is something that I've been wanting to use for a very long time. Mawile's base form has a few really great abilities in Intimidate, in Sheer Force, and Hypercutter, so its attack can't get lowered. But obviously the most important thing about Mega Mawile is huge power with 105 base attack stat, which effectively makes it the most powerful attack stat in the entire world. So I was really excited to use this. It has a phenomenal typing and really good defensive stats, actually. Like 125, 95 is very respectable, so I can tank a lot of hits, which makes up for my super low speed stat of 50. Yeah, phenomenal typing, so I can switch into a ton of things. I've got like 2 immunities, I think, to Dragon and Poison, and I just got like Resistances up the truckload. And Mawile pairs very well with basically any offensive dragon, so any dragon that's either like flying or levitate, they basically, it's like perfect synergy going on. So that was obviously what I wanted to get for pick number 2. And when my second pick came up, I basically had like the world was my oyster for which dragons I wanted to get. I had on my mind Dragonite, Salamence, Hydreigon, Latios. They were all available to me, but I ended up going with Salamence. So, yeah, the second round pick, Salamence, it's going to be one of my Z users because the Salamence is like flying in Z, and in addition to getting a lot of other really great coverage moves, Salamence will be like an incredibly powerful late game cleaner, setup sweeper, moxie sweeper, scarfer. It's just overall fantastic. And like I said, pairs really well with Mega Mawile. I can potentially have that double intimidate core, which I love to run a lot. And yeah, almost perfect like typing coverage already. And Salamence is just super powerful. So right away, I have really, really good offensive core. And Salamence can also be special, of course, with a 110 base special attack. 100 speed is like not the best these days. I, of course, want to draft a lot of faster things, but it's still like you get a Dragon Dance and you're basically set. It's a really good Scarfer too, which I'll be running probably more often than not, but we'll see. So that is Salamence. Next up is something else that I've been wanting to give a try a lot is Raikou. So in the PTL, there was actually a team that I did a lot of sub battles for, and it just so happened to have Raikou, and it won me a couple of games. So I was like, hey, this is a really good Pokemon that I want to try out to use. Relatively bulky, like a good like 90, 75, 100 like defensive stats. It can tank a lot of hits, and with only one weakness, that being ground, which I've already got covered with Salamence. And I'll be getting, more levitators and flyers and stuff later in the draft, most likely. But yeah, Raikou's lacks a lot of really good coverage, so it's mainly going to be running like Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Hidden Power of some kind, and then maybe Aura Sphere if I want a meme, and it also gets like extra sensory. But for the most part, you're reliant on hidden powers and whatnot. But it has, despite the lack of good coverage, it can run a really good Calm Mindset. It can run really good Spec Set. It can run just like overall offensive, like Substitute. There's a lot that Raikou can do despite its on-paper limitations, and I'm very excited to come up with a lot of fun sets for Raikou. So next up, I got Porygon 2 because my team obviously needed some bulk. Porygon 2 has just been one of those things where every time I go up against it, I'm just like, make it stop. So that's me now. I get Porygon 2. I don't have to face it ever. So 85, 90, 95 defenses are good. Made even better with the Eviolite, which, I mean, let's be real. You got Porygon 2, it's going to be running Eviolite because that just like skyrockets its defenses. It's got 3 really good abilities in Trace, Download, and Analytic. I'm excited to come up with sets that use like all 3 of those. And normal typing has just got the one weakness, but not a lot of resistances. It's overall pretty good. Got a lot of really good coverage moves. It can run like Bolt Beam, Tri Attack, Shadow Ball, and it's got recovery, like in literally just recover. But yeah, really great Pokemon. And like I mentioned, the team that I was subbing with that had Raikou, it also had Porygon 2, so I've been using it a fair bit defensively. It also had another defensive mon, which I'm gonna actually my next pick. I just want to try out some new defensive cores. So next I got Vaporeon. Like I said, I've been pairing Vaporeon with Porygon 2. And Vaporeon is another Pokemon that every time I have to go up against it, I just think to myself, make it stop. No, go away Vaporeon. Yeah, it's a really good Pokemon, really great bulky water type. Like 130 base HP is like really good. And the rest of the defense is like 60, 95, despite only having base 60 defense, which I'm going to double check. I think that's actually my lowest defense stat on my entire team, but it's still going to be running like defensive sets all the time. Water Absorb makes me like immune to water, which is great. And it has somewhat respectable stats all along. Like it can still hit back pretty hard with like Scald, Ice Beam, and I forget what other coverage it gets, but it's a really great Wish Passer with that like insanely high HP stat. I can get Mawile back up to full with a Wish Pass. I can get Porygon 2 back way up more than a Recover could. So it's a good Wish Passer. And yeah, Vaporeon's just a really good bulky mon for my team. Needed that bulky water type, of course, which almost every team needs, but it's really great to have. So next up, I grabbed Emboar, which is actually the only Pokemon on this draft that I have drafted before. Emboar just so happened to work out almost perfectly for this team. I already have my Dragon Steel Fairy Core in Mawile Salamence, and starting out with Vaporeon, I now have Emboar in the starts to my Fire Water Grass Core, which some people, have really good ones. Some people have mediocre ones. I'm just going to go middle of the road, good bang for the buck. Emboar is a fantastic wall breaker. Its typing actually works out really great with my team because as I drafted, I checked, weaknesses and stuff and just got things in order of what do I need the most. Emboar is phenomenal. I loved using it in the PPL. Use Banded, Flame Charge, just sets that it's like it's going to get a kill. Emboar comes in, it gets a kill, which is going to be happening a lot this season as well. That Reckless ability just makes Flare Blitz insane. It makes Wild Charge insane. And also Head Smash. Yeah, I think that's its best recoil moves. So really excited to use this one again. So next up, I wanted to grab a grass type, and one thing my team is lacking at the moment is, I believe, defog support. Like, Salamence already has defog, but I needed to get something else, even though I'm not super weak to rocks at this time. It's only Salamence is weak to rocks, which is actually great because my teams often struggle with lack of hazard removal and lots of things that are weak to hazards, so that's something that I was being mindful of. So I wanted to grab Rotom this next round, but then of course doo-doo dirtbag named Gray was like ha 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 ha, so he got Rotom like a couple turns before I was gonna get it. So I picked the next best grass type that I could in Celebi. So Celebi is a fantastic Pokemon. I'm honestly surprised that it and so many other good grass types have lasted this long. 100 base stats across the board. It's one of those fantastic pixies. Psychic Grass is decent typing. I of course am 4 times weak to bug, but Emboar 4 times resists it, so let's be real. So Celebi is incredibly versatile. It's got like Nasty Plot and Baton Pass, which I'm technically allowed to do. It can run Calm Mind. Its dual stabs are pretty great, and does it get Leech Seed? Overall, it's like really great offensively and defensively and support. It's got Heal Bell, but then again, so does Vaporeon. Just overall, it actually fit in my team quite nicely. I was kind of dead set on getting the defogger right there, but then I figured Celebi actually works great, especially considering now that I've got that plus Emboar plus Vaporeon, which can be both offensive and defensive core. So excited to use Celebi. I haven't before, with every member of this draft besides Emboar. So yeah, just another thing I'm excited to use. And next up, I grabbed Golurk. So Golurk, I wanted a few things. I wanted a ground type, I wanted a ghost type, and I wanted something that fit into my budget, which Golurk was just actually perfect for that. And I also wanted some more rocks, which I think up to this point, only Celebi is my rocker, or Mawile too, but I mean, come on, does it want to run rocks all the time? Well, maybe. So Golurk is a fantastic Pokemon. It's a little bit slow, but it's super, super good at, where was I going with that? Iron Fist, Elemental Punches, Shadow Punches, Dynamic Punch, No Guard. Resistances, weak immunities. It was like the selling point was those immunities. Like it eats up all the fighting type attacks that go into Porygon. It eats up all of the electric type attacks that go into Salamence and Vaporeon. But just like the typing synergy is really what I needed with Golurk. The rocks are really helpful, and its powerful attack stat is as well, and overall quite bulky. So, and it's another thing that I've been curious to try. I've seen some people use this Pokemon really well in draft before, and there are a couple times where my opponent had it and it was really tough to prep for a Rock Polish Golurk, so that might be something I try out. So yeah, excited to use this. Next up, what did I had? Next up, I had Tornadus Incarnate. So I grabbed Tornadus for one main reason, and that is Prankster Defog. I talked a lot about before how I wanted to get a defogger that could switch into rocks relatively easily and doesn't take 25%, because most defoggers are weak to rocks, which is kind of a downside. But I didn't see anything that particularly fit in with my team. So the next best thing was to grab a Prankster Defogger, which at the time there was Tornadus here, and also Whimsicott was available to me, but I had already gotten Celebi. Kind of wish I grabbed Whimsicott when I could, but you know. And you know, doubling up on the fairy types, but then again, Tornadus doubles up on the flying type. But luckily, it's just pure flying, like not normal. So pure flying is so much better than flying normal, which I'm, you know, grab Tornadus for that reason. Special attack set is like, you know, pretty good. It's also speedy. I needed something that was speedy, because I was looking at it, it's like my speed tiers were feeling kind of awkward. Like Raikou is my fastest thing, and then next I got like Salamence and then a bunch of slow things. So, and I needed something else that was speedy, just so it's like not one thing that's really fast, but at the same time not really fast. Because like if my fastest thing is like base 115 speed with Raikou, and there's some teams that have, you know, base 120s, 130s, 140s, so it's going to be tough. I'm going to be forced to run a few Scarfers, but Tornadus, Prankster, and Defiant are two fantastic abilities. Like I've got the Prankster Defog and other really great support options. And Defiant, like it has a lot of fantastic physical coverage moves, so I'm excited to use sets like that, especially with other teams that have Intimidate and whatnot. I can, you know, force defogs, but I'm not the best at hazard stacks overall. But yeah, Tornadus got a lot of great support moves, really great coverage, and even though it's like not quite as good as the Therian counterpart, it's still good. It's still got a lot of stuff going for it, especially with that Prankster Defog and other support stuff. So that is almost the conclusion of my draft. We needed to pick between 10 and 11 within the budget. So it's like not a lot of wiggle room, and the budgets are slightly lower than they have been in the PTL. So I had one or two more picks. At this point, I have 9 points left, and wasn't really sure. Like I didn't have a very concrete plan. It was more just me looking at what's the best thing that I can grab at any given time, fill in my type gaps, get hazards, get defensive, get offensive, and all that jazz. So the last thing I ended up picking was Drapion. I didn't have a poison type, I didn't have a dark type, I didn't have any toxic spikes, and it also filled in a nice speed tier. It was like I had 100 speed with Salamence, and then I dropped to, I think it was 60 or 65 with Emboar or something. So it fills that gap quite nicely. It's got respectable stats with it's bulky. It's got enough attack that banded knockoffs just really hurt. I also have toxic spikes now, which is great. I can do some hazard stacking with toxic spikes and rocks, and, you know, force defog, get the Defiant boost with Tornadus. So Drapion, it actually filled in a lot of things quite nicely. It's got great typing and a decent speed tier, and just actually fit things the way I needed them to. So I also made Drapion my second Z user, so that is Salamence Drapion, which actually fit the budget perfectly because Drapion was 9 points and Salamence was 16, and our Z budget was 25. So it actually fit nicely because they're both like phenomenal users. So that rounds out my draft, which I'm actually quite happy with it. Going through everything, like I didn't have a concrete plan at any point really. Like I said, I just wanted to get things that were broken. I just wanted to get things that were really good value and things that I have never used before. So I actually think it turned out quite nicely given my lack of planning really. So let's do a quick recap of the squad. We've got Mega Mawile, Salamence, Raikou, Porygon 2, Vaporeon, Emboar, Celebi, Golurk, Tornadus Incarnate, and Drapion. So that's the squad. That is going to be my first proper Wi-Fi League and first time repping the Brooklyn Venonets. So excited about that. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I'm going to be uploading this league, doing both the team builders and the battles every week. And yeah, check out everyone else participating, because this is an upload required league, so you'll get to see my side of the battle as well as others' side of the battle. And keep up to date with the league, who's going on where, who's getting into playoffs. And yeah, really excited about that. Like the video if you liked it, and if you got anything else to say, if you got anything to say about what you thought of the team, what you're excited for of this league, anything else, comment down below if you got anything else to say. But yeah, that's all I've got for everyone today. So I'll see everyone in the next video. I will be uploading the team builder for my week 1, which is against my good buddy. Should I reveal that yet? Nah, maybe not. I don't know how much has been technically revealed. Yeah, that's all for me. So I'll see everyone in the next video. Take care now. Bye-bye.